Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So we are in my car and we're gonna do a story time. What else is new? So I did a video a little while back. It's probably been a year or more at this point. I will link it up there, and why am I showing y'all my ceiling? Like, hey, there's my sunroof. What am I doing? I will link it down in the description for you if you haven't seen it, but I talked about some of the wildlife that I encountered while I was working at the Jungle Cruise. And no, I'm not talking about the guests. I'm talking about actual critters that came and went from the Jungle Cruise while I was working there. And so today I'm going to continue that. I'm going to talk about a few more of the feathered and furry and slimy friends that I saw while I was working at the Jungle Cruise. One of the most obvious critters that you're going to see at Disney World, and everyone sees them everywhere, are the Disney ducks. Not Donald and Daisy, actual quack quack ducks. They are all over the place. They walk around the parks. You see them everywhere, and they're super cute, right? Like, they're ducks. They're adorable. But at the Jungle Cruise, we have water. So they're like really around at the Jungle Cruise. But when the babies are around, everyone wants to pet them, play with them, touch them, and we can't let guests do that, for safety reasons, for the ducks, for the people, for everyone. So we can't let guests interact with the ducks. We have to kind of be duck wranglers sometimes at the Jungle Cruise because they were around us so much. I'm sure other cast members have to do it in other locations as well, but I know for sure we had to do it. And you have to assume the duck waddle, which is your feet are kind of like, you put your heels together and you walk in a V and kind of shuffle with the ducks in between your feet, trying to make them move, because we're not going to just like grab them, pick them up, and like toss them somewhere. So we would have to kind of encourage them gently by walking very close behind them to try to make them move where we wanted them to, and we would have to like scuttle them off stage so that they wouldn't be where guests are, so that they are not going to be, scooped up by a guest who just loves the furry little critter so much. You can't be doing that. So we see the ducks, have to wrangle the ducks a lot. That's a thing. But some of the more uncomfortable situations are in the ride. Because the whole ride is on water, the ducks sit in the water. They hang out, they float around, they do what ducks do. And in the spring, what ducks do is not exactly family friendly. And we had to try to not talk about that while we were doing our cruises. One of the easiest ways is when people be like, ducks! We're like, yeah, what about them? And they'd be like, are those real ducks? And it's like, no, those are animatronics. All the other stuff's real, but those are the animatronics. So we would, we try to like, yay, ducks, whatever. You'd hear kids being like, what's happening there? And the parents are like, oh, really? Didn't expect to have to do this at Disney World, but here we are. So, we would try to help out and like kind of interject and talk about the ducks and do different things. And I honestly don't remember how we diffused most of those situations, but we had skipper ways of doing it, I suppose. The funniest thing was when the ducks would not get out of the way of the boats, because they've been around and around and around. They know that the boats are moving slow. They're not afraid of the boats. They've been around. It's kind of like deer who are like desensitized to people and aren't really scared of them or whatever. But the ducks would just be kind of like floating around doing their duck thing, like, oh, let me grab a piece of whatever out of the water and eat that, and oh, I'm just gonna bob and float. And they would get close to the boat path and we can't like stop the boats on a dime to not like bump into these ducks, and the ducks would just kind of like bonk, and then they and they just kind of float over to the side like, okay, I'll get out of your way, don't mind me, just being a duck. And it was, I don't know, it was so funny to me just to watch these ducks just kind of like floating and then like bonk off of the boats and then just keep going. They didn't care. We didn't hit them hard. They didn't seem to mind. They didn't want to get out of the way. When you're at Disney World, you're gonna see the Disney ducks. When you're at the Jungle Cruise, you may see a lot more of the Disney ducks. Oh, now you're quiet. No, still going. Jeez. Are you good now? Excellent. Another fine feathered friend that we had visit us at the Jungle Cruise, I can only actually recall one time that this happened. There probably were more, but there's only one that I like took pictures of. We don't have our cameras or our phones on stage with us, so most of the stuff that I describe and I'm talking about, it's not like I was able to like record it or take pictures of it or anything like that, because if guests are around, cast members don't have their phones. Those were in our lockers or in our bags or wherever. So the only time that you did have your phone is if you were like on a break or after hours and you were just like cleaning the queue or whatever, I'll get to that in a second, we were in the, what we called the Oasis, which was the teeny tiny little break room. It wasn't our main break room, it was the small one that's right by the exit of the ride. And I was just sitting in there and a bird had gotten stuck in there. And we were like, where is it? We hear it, we just can't see it. And he was just flying around, flapping in the corners, and we were like moving stuff out of the way. Where is this bird? We did finally find him, and I should have a picture that I can insert here for you if I can find it, of our little birdie friend who wanted to take a break too. He was thirsty. He was hanging out by the water cooler. Nothing to see here. The last set of friends that we had were not furry, they were not feathered. We had some bullfrogs who were in the queue one night, and you could really only hear them at night, obviously. During the day, they're not super active. I assume that they're napping like I like to be in the middle of the afternoon. So it's after hours. We are just like closing the queue. We're doing the closing checklists, cleaning up, you know, all the little popcorn kernels and all that, doing the sweeping and the cleaning up. And we just hear the very distinct sound that I'm not even going to try to imitate, of a bullfrog. And we're like, where is this dude? Like, where? He's around. Where is he? And so we're all looking around. We're all trying to find him. We finally did find him. He was off in the corner over by Albert A. Wall's office. If you know the queue, there's the little piece that looks like an office. He was behind that, and he was just chilling there. And so, you know, it was after hours. We all had our phones, and we were like, let's take pictures and video of this. So he was just singing us the songs of his people over and over and over. He was just chilling out. He was just entertaining us for the night. We turned off the queue music, and he was not ready for us to be done being entertained. And he was just giving us his beautiful bullfrog song. So he was another fun little critter that we got to see while we were working at the Jungle Cruise. A little more of the wildlife that we got to encounter while I was working at the Jungle Cruise. I'm sure there's more. I'll have to have a think on it. But those were just some of the ones that I was thinking of that I hadn't mentioned before. So wanted to give you some more animals that you may encounter while you were on the Jungle Cruise that you may not think of. You expect to see the lions and the tigers and the crocodiles, but you may not expect to see the Disney ducks and the bullfrogs. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you have any fun animals that you have encountered at Disney World, Disney ducks or otherwise, let me know what they are down below. I hope they have feet. If they are non-footed animals, I am so sorry. I apologize on behalf of Disney and humanity as a whole that you had to encounter a snake, but I hope you encountered some fun critters. Let me know those down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.